Welcome to Houston Newsmakers Extra. I'm with Charles Criner, who's written his book, The Children and George, written and illustrated by Charles Criner. And I want to talk a little bit about your career, because you've been doing this more than a couple of years, illustration.
Oh, yes.
So when did you first get the bug? I read that you started in elementary school. You kind of had a feeling that you had that talent.
Well, I first started with, in elementary school. My grandmother got me interested in artwork, and she was the one that pushed me up into the career.
So, but when you can have, somebody can push you to artwork, but if you don't have the skill set, I mean, I got to tell you, I don't even do stick figures well. So they could have pushed me all they wanted to and it would have gone nowhere.
Yeah.
So at some point there was something about what you were doing. You kind of saw the colors or you saw the lines and that sort of thing.
You know, I really don't know. I think that's something that the good Lord gives with some. It's like with music and anything else. You just start, but then you have to have somebody to be there to push you to do this, to do that. And like I told you before, my grandmother was a person that she took my work to different churches and things like that and asked them to let me do posters and stuff free. You know, and so that's really how it started.
When you look back on your career, what's most amazing about where your illustrations and your work has shown? I don't, you may not spend a lot of time looking back at that, but
yeah, well, everything. I always look back. And it's one of these things where it's something that's pushed me. Like a lot of my college friends, it's something that pushes us from one thing to the next. But I think my Dr. Biggers, I think that's the thing that when I first met him, he pushed me from elementary stuff to really what I'm doing today. It's like he's some kind of stamp or something on everything that I do. I can start one thing. I can work with it and try to do something with it, but it always comes back to basically the kind of artwork that I do.
We talked about this earlier for the program, about this being a labor of love for you, representing the children and George. The children are you and your four sisters.
Right.
And George is a catfish.
Right.
And so what kind of group, is there a certain age group that would get a kick out of this, or?
I think everybody would get a kick out of it. I think that in a way, all families would have George in their lives one way or the other. Maybe not a catfish, but a chicken, a goldfish, it's got to be something like that. But like I said, we were so poor to, that could be another interview right there. But we were so poor till we couldn't come up with anything. So that was one of the things that actually worked with us. Catfish was stuck on that pipe. We made a little fence around it and got him and just kept him there for as long as we could.
Okay, so George didn't end up on the dinner plate at all?
Oh, no.
I had to ask. I mean, it's a tough subject, but somebody had to ask this question.
Yeah.
So.
No, we put a little wire fence there by that pipe, and he stayed there. And he stayed there until it rained. When it came a big rain, then he washed off, and the book explains that.
Okay.
And he went on down and actually probably lived a better life.
Yeah. Well, I like the book. I like the premise. I like the fact that proceeds from those folks who want to donate $250 and more can get an autographed copy of this. It goes to the Rutherford B.H. Yates Museum, Freedmanstown. So I'm glad you're doing this. Glad you came in and talked about it. The children and George. I'll put all the information on the website, the Newsmakers website, on clicktohouston.com. Thank you, Mr. Criner.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you for having me.